A little bit about me. My name is DeAndre Fisher. Originally from North Dallas. I actually moved to Edmond, Oklahoma with my grandmother my sophomore year of high school, in which I graduated from Edmond Santa Fe and pursued then at the University of Oklahoma on a track scholarship in 2007, graduated in 2011, and then pursued my master's in adult and higher education and student affairs, and then also in human relations, and worked at the University of Oklahoma 3 years prior to my new position. And I'll transition. I was a recruiter in the Oklahoma City area, so I recruited for Oklahoma City schools, and my main target was a lot of first-generation college students, low socioeconomic college students, and students who wanted to make the dream of going to the University of Oklahoma a reality. Okay, so that was what my passion, and that's what I did for a living. So as you all know, it's good to have a passion and work somewhere that you actually love, right? Okay, so within your ministry and things of that nature, so you love what you do, so it makes it easy for you to do it, but you all find struggles in what you do. So I did as well with recruiting a diverse population. So with that being said, I want to just kind of give you some dialogue and kind of go through a story. And with this story, I want to kind of talk with you all, because I think it's very important when you have a conversation, bless you, when you have a conversation about diversity and about inclusivity, you want to make sure that you have some relatability factors. So within that relatability factors, some factors in which you can all relate to. So imagine yourself having a child or having a grandchild, and within that time frame, you have your child and you raise your child up in this this home and this environment of loving and caring and going to church and being drugged in church, meaning that I was drugged to Sunday school, drugged to vacation Bible school, drugged to everything that you can imagine that grandmother and everybody needs you to go to. Okay, so that was what that child. So you raise this child up, and this child achieves the dream of going to. Okay, achieves the dream of going to a university. First in his family to go to the university, and he gets to the university, achieves a bachelor's degree, and at this time, this is something that his family is very proud of. And one thing that I tell you that, and I'm talking about me, myself, but I try to go back and forth so you can kind of relate as you have a child or if you have a grandchild. So you finally, everybody in the family is excited, right? Everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's done this, he set this standard for the family, he set this standard, we're so excited for him. One thing that I was very proud of is being a student athlete at the University of Oklahoma and graduating in 4 years. For some who may not understand it, it is very difficult at Division I university or any university to balance being a student athlete, your grades, and then also actually graduating on time, right? So that was something that I was very excited about. But one thing that I was excited when I walked across the stage, so it's finally here and the graduation ceremony is here, and I'm walking across the stage, and as I'm walking across the stage, I get to the chair and the dean of my department, and I shake the hand, and the dean says to me, DeAndre, because I have on, of course you have on all of your stoles, so I have on my student athletic stole, I have on McNair stole, I have on all of my stoles. I graduated with a 3.6 at the university, so I was really excited. And as I get to the stage and I get to shake the hand of the dean, he says, DeAndre, I'm excited, and wow, I didn't even know that this whole time you were a student athlete. And in my head, I'm like, wow, that's so great. So I went through the whole collegiate experience, making sure I don't wear sweats to college in my class, make sure I sit in the front because I want to make sure that they don't automatically put me in a box, right, as being a student athlete who doesn't want to learn, who's just here because they're on an athletic scholarship, who really didn't earn their way to get into the university. We're using our bodies to really maintain our educational career and things of that nature. So after he told me that, I'm like, yes, I achieved what I wanted to. So I graduated in 4 years, and then I made it through a university without a stereotype. And I told my grandmother, I told her the story, and she looked at me and she said, DeAndre, that actually hurts me. Why did it hurt her? And I didn't realize it until now, because it hurt her because she knew that my passion was track. And I had to hide who I was and what I really loved, which is education, but track, because I didn't want to be put in a box. Because I didn't want people to think, oh, here he comes in with his sweats, he's coming in late, he really doesn't care about class. So I tell you that story, and I tell you multiple stories as I go through this talk, because I want you all to understand what it takes and what it means for a person of color and for a minority to have to deal and have to go through life, and what are the stereotypes and what they have to do just to make sure that they appease someone who's the majority. Okay? So I think that that's important, because a lot of times we say we want to understand diversity, we say we want to have this conversation, but we don't put ourselves in people's shoes. I don't need you two all to be here today and have pity for me. That's not what we're here to do. That's not what diversity is. That's not what the LGBTQ community needs. That's not what the Latino community needs. That's not what the African American community needs. The Native American community needs. Women who are suffering today just for a promotion and getting passed over and passed over and passed over, they don't need the pity. They need you to sit in their shoes and try to understand what it is that they go through on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so that's first and number one that I want to make sure that you all understand, because I think a lot of the times as a society, we're like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for that person. I cannot believe that person. Now, what are we going to do? Where do our work come in? You know, so I think that's going to be very much important. I have some questions that I want to make sure that today that we digest and that we ask ourselves, because I think these questions are going to be important, and it's going to have time for you all to talk within your tables, talk within each other, but then think and realize some of the things. So Mr. Chris, I'm going to ask you to move up with a table here in a minute, so we can all get together, and I'm going to ask you to come to a table too as well, so we can all get together, because this is going to be a time of reflection. Because if we leave here and we don't have steps on what to do next, then today has been nothing. It has been nothing. It has been another talk that we've talked, and we've come together and we say, oh man, we know we need diversity, and we know we need to do better within our communities, but how do we do that? I think that is going to be most important on how do we do that. So, going into what I want to talk about first is going to be a sense of belonging. So by a show of hands, who just likes to feel like they belong to something, whether that's your family, your loved ones, a group, your church? Okay, just a sense of belonging. Okay, so going into that, we have, and I'll bring up a few theories and a few theorists and a few authors in which that I really enjoy some of their work. And one of the authors that I really enjoy, Dr. Strayhorn. Okay, it's going to be a phenomenal person, and what he says about theory of being feeling of belonging. There's elements of feeling belonging. Okay, so the first element, there's 6 core elements of wanting to feel like you belong into something. A sense of belonging, okay, understanding, is just the basic human need, right? Because everyone raised their hand, they just want to feel like they're belonging. Number 2 is it's fundamental. It's fundamental. It's a fundamental behavior that drives the human body to want to feel, the human race, to want to feel like they belong into a group, an organization. Some of you all are part of this organization, so who helped plan the conference, or who's a part of the conference planning committee in here? Who helped plan today? Wonderful. Whoever joined organizations as far as for your work. Any organizations, any ministerial organizations are you part of? Raise your hand, I want to know. Just kind of know. Okay, wonderful. And I ask that because humans want to belong so bad that we're willing to pay to be a part of these organizations, right? So we're willing to pay a membership fee to be a part of these organizations, whatever it takes to say, oh, I'm in that organization, or oh, I'm a part of that organization. And even to the point to where if you even went to a university, you then become an alumni, and you're a proud alumni, and you say, wow, I'm a part of that university. So, and number 3, Okay, when you talk about a sense of belonging, it takes time and factors to determine relative importance. Okay, so your relatability. So why did you join that organization, or why do you feel like you want to be a part of this organization, or just feeling part? Number 4, the influence by others. So sometimes we join or want to feel related because our friends, our mothers, our fathers are somebody who we look up to. Okay, number 5, it leads to positive outcomes and success. So I'm going to join this organization. I'm a fraternity guy, so I'm going to join a fraternity because I think that it's going to lead to some positivity, and it has so far in my life. And then number 6, must be satisfied with the conditions and circumstances. So understanding that you do this, and everybody wants to be a part of something, and everybody wants to feel a sense of belonging because they want to feel satisfied within the conditions that they are a part of, right? So if we understand that if you all, everyone raised their hand in the beginning when I say who wants to feel like they belong into something. So if we understand that that's the human nature, that's the human body, that's one thing that we can all say, that when we look inside this room and we look inside our communities, because a lot of you all say the communities, and you want to be the cornerstone of your communities, where your community, anybody in your community can come into your church doors, can come into you. You want to feel welcome. You want them to feel welcome when they come in and things of that nature. But if they don't feel a sense of belonging in your church or in your organizations, then I think that's the first problem. I think that's the first thing that we need to tackle. Because if we know that everybody, and that's just a human desire to want to feel belonged, want to feel welcomed, want to feel comfortable, how do we do that? And our comfortability levels, regardless of where we're at and what we do, we make sure we put ourselves in places with people who we identify with, who we can relate with, who we can bounce ideas off of. This is the human nature. We bounce ideas off each other. And I'm going to go to the person who would kind of challenge me, but more so who thinks like me. So when I bounce an idea off of them, they can say, oh yeah, I agree too, I agree. We don't want the person who's going to say, I don't like that song that you all, you said you're the director, right, of praise and worship. I don't like that song. I'm sorry, I don't like that song. Now I'm going to go to people that, oh, that's a great song, sister. I love that song. That's my favorite song. Can you sing it next Sunday, please? We're going to do that. We're going to find our comfortability levels with people who are more like us. And I think when we decide, especially as pastors in this room and directors and people of higher power, the work starts with us. The work starts right here in this room, because you have to be willing to be uncomfortable first before you can find true change in your churches, in your organizations, and things of that nature. And that's where the work starts. So I'm going to get us in groups. So if you all can come to a table, whichever table, this table needs more people over here. So maybe you two can just come to this table. And I'm going to ask the first question. And within this question, I want you to answer however you feel necessary to answer the question. Okay, so the first question, diving into diversity. What characteristics do individuals within your organization, your church, whatever you want to kind of relate this to, possess? Real simple. So what characteristics do individuals, we'll just say within your church, possess? What do they possess? What characteristics? What are characteristics? And you can talk about it. You don't have to be, you can talk in your room. So what are some characteristics of people? What are characteristics that you possess? What are things that you do that makes you unique? Think about some people in your church or in your organization. What do you think makes them unique? Okay. And I'll give you some time to think about that. Just quite check. My next question. How do we create an environment in which individuals feel welcome, respected, and supported?
How do you do that? If you had to get up right now and say, I know how I create an environment, and everybody, if you hold a role in any position, you should be able to handle this. It should be an easy question. I can tell you right now how I do that at the University of Oklahoma. Every day. How do you do that? One last question. How do you create growth and development opportunities for underrepresented populations? How do you create growth and development opportunities in underrepresented populations within your church? So someone said they're lacking African Americans within their church. So how do you create growth and development opportunities in underrepresented populations? Whatever underrepresented population that may be within your church, within your ministry. The roles that women play within your church, the roles that men play within your church, the roles, whatever you feel. Underrepresented populations could be whatever you're lacking, whatever population you're lacking within your church. How do you create development opportunities and growth in that? Youth, I don't know how many have the role with youth. How's the youth in your population? How's the young adults? How's the married population? The people are married in your population. So why I did that and what we're going to do in digesting those three questions, the goal of today, for me in my section, and what I want to make sure that I get across, those three questions, when we think about those three questions, and I'm going to repeat those three questions again as I close, I'm going to repeat those three questions, because if you want to build a strategic plan, if you want to build a plan of action, our department and what we have found with the National Race on Ethnicity, we have INCOR at the University of Oklahoma, which is a national conference that's hosted every year. This year is going to be in San Francisco. It's going on its 20th year, and what this conference does is it really digests what the true meaning of race is, what the true meaning of diversity, inclusivity, and inequity. So it has different components to this conference. And those three questions are some questions that our office in that conference and what we have come together to understand that if we can get organizations to come together and ask them those three questions, and then ask them to kind of answer those questions within themselves. And if you get to a point to where you're stuck, you don't understand, you don't know, then there entails where you need to do your work. There entails what you need to do to get to the next step. It's by answering those three questions. So we'll go into those three questions, but I want to rest your mind, and I want to give you another scenario because I like to go back to putting you to work, but then also letting you think about something. So I'm going to let you think about something. I'm going to talk about something that's very important to me, and that is within the African American community. Within the African American community, one of my passions is developing African American males to help them pursue a college degree. Why? Because that was my reality, and I want to make sure as a social agent of change, that's what I open the door, and that's what I make sure that I try to do for other African American males. So first you have to find, when I talk about being a social agent of change, you have to find your passion. Okay, you have to find that your passion, meaning that if you can't do anything else, if you only have one thing left to do in life, what would that be? What would that be for you? Because when you're able to help one person, then you can realize that you can help 1,000, because that one person then stands on a platform of being able to help many others after that. So what I give you an example, I'll say this. A lot of times we do not do this. We do not thank and clap the unsung heroes, the real social agent of change. We love the Martin Luther Kings, and we thank him for being who he was and really helping a lot of the communities, not just African American community. He helped so many communities at the time of being a social agent of change and a civil rights activist. But where were the people who packed the churches to hear him, the people who were walking with him, the people who helped him make the change that he did, and things of that nature? Those are the people who we tend to forget. So what I made a reality is in my life is that the people who helped me access college and help me become the man who I am today and help me pertain and help me get the education and pursue the education that I am. I do this for them. I give them a clap because those are the unsung heroes that we all in our lives know. We have those. But we sometimes forget about them. So it's our opportunity as Social Agent to Change to really clap and really give them the recognition that they deserve. Okay? Because we all are here for a reason. But then I say this, I go back to your purpose. Tie in, so understanding my purpose. So I'll give you this story. So I'm walking, just me and my wife just got married maybe 7 months ago. Not maybe, 7 months ago. You better know the exact day and time. Okay, you better know that. That's what I do know. So 7 months ago, let me be very clear on that. If she watches this or something. 7 months ago. And within that, we got a house here in Oklahoma City, and we're remodeling the house. We decided that it's a good market to buy a house out here by the Oklahoma City Health Science Center, and we want to remodel the house. So at this time we're remodeling the house, I realized that we had to go. I think it was a light, a certain bulb that I needed for a light fixture, right? So at that time, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to Walmart, and I'm just going to go get this certain a light bulb that you needed. It was a certain light bulb, just not the regular light bulb. You had to make sure you knew, because the lighting in the dining room needed to be like this, and the only light fixture that you needed, and she was going to know if I got the wrong bulb, trust me. Okay, so I just couldn't put anything in there. So as I'm going to Walmart, and I realized that I need a bulb, and I don't know about you all, but when I get to Walmart, I'm not asking anybody because I know exactly where everything is, right? So I'm going to go straight to the right aisle, and I'm going to go get the right bulb, and I'm not going to ask anybody because I just know where it's at. So I decided to do that, and as I'm doing that, as I'm walking down the aisle, and I'm trying to find, because I really don't know where it's at, but I'm still trying to find it on my own, I get to an aisle where there is toy rifles. Okay, air rifles on the aisle. And I see an air rifle, and I pause for a moment. I pause for a moment because I have a reality. And I have a reality because I remember watching on TV not too long ago that there was a man in Walmart in Ohio who sees a shotgun, an air rifle, who, like you all, okay, so some of you all may want to go shop, or, you know, if you're going to go shop, like myself, if I'm going to Dillard's or wherever you decide to shop, if you see a suit jacket, a dress, some shoes, you all are going to try it on, right? Or do you just buy it, or do you try it on? Raise your hand if you try it on, what you're going to try. I just kind of want to know. Okay, some people just, oh, that looks good, I'm going to get it, I hope it fits. But for me, and some of you that raised your hand, you try it on. So I would assume that if I'm going to buy an air rifle in Walmart, and I wanted to try it, you know, make sure that it fits right, make sure that I just want to try and make sure that this is what I want to buy, because I'm not going to just spend my money on something that I don't want to buy. So this man, John Crawford, who decides to put on this gun and make sure it fits, not pointing at anybody, just make sure it fits in Walmart. Not even 5 minutes later of him trying on this gun, there's a call to the police in that area that there's a black man in Walmart pointing a gun at people. The police show up, and there's video, you can Google it. The police show up, and you can tell as he's trying it on that maybe someone has called his name, because he looks back. John! And he looks back. Boom, boom, boom. They shoot. At this time, he's laying on the ground. His girlfriend, mother of his child, runs to him and yells and screams, what's going on? Oh my goodness, what happened? What did you do? They yell at her, and it's on video, move back, or else we'll take you to jail. So why I bring that story up and why I say that, because it's easy for some to see stories like this in the news and turn the channel and think, oh. But it's hard for someone like me who can relate to being in Walmart and just going to get a bug and having a reality check to say, wow, that's my reality. I could have easily been in that Walmart. I could have easily been right there. And we're not going to get on the things that's happening in Oklahoma, so that's why I just moved to Ohio, so we don't have to go there. Okay, because we all have enough stories here within Oklahoma in which we all need to do better. But I share this story every time I talk, because just as you all raise your hand and say, yeah, I try on my shoes, I try on the clothes, I try on the things too. But the difference is that it was an African-American male and the threat that he holds to today's society. And the threat that some may see as a threat to this society. So, Dr. Strayhorn says this. He says he did a study, and he showed John Crawford and some of the other young men who have been killed by police in Ferguson and other places. We all know. We all been aware. And if you have not, then make yourself aware, because I think that with the leadership role that you all play and how you all in the communities and you want to bring more people to your community that's diverse, then you need to know their struggles. I mean, you're not going to have a diverse community, whether that's African-American males, whether that's the African-American community, whether that's the Hispanic community, whether that's the Native American community, the LGBT community, whatever community you want to see your church grow in, or you want to see your church flourish in. If you do not understand their struggles and you do not know their realities, then once again we talk about being a sense of belonging, right? Because I want to be able to belong, right? But if you don't understand my realities, understand my struggles, then I'm not going to feel belong, because anytime I try to talk about something, or anytime something plays on the news or something that's going on in society that I care about, that's bothering me on that Sunday morning, you're not even going to talk about it because you don't even know it. So what he says is the reality of black men. So he shows him a picture and he says, give me a response. Response number 1. Men of color don't have to do anything to be lawfully murdered. Response number 2. Black male life is not valued in America, and any justification of killing them will do. Reality number 3. Most people in authority are not out to hurt you or kill you. Best advice. Most people in authority are, out to hurt you and kill you. Best advice, don't trust authority. Number 4, my favorite. Education and respectability won't save you. It won't. Let me tell you why. Let me just cover one more thing. So, if a response to saying, don't trust authority, and we all know what authority figures are from kindergarten, right? Your teachers, mom, dad, police officers. But if our community is teaching us not to trust authority, not to trust people of authority, because they don't mean us well, then we already have set ourselves up for failure. Our society has set us up already for failure. Okay? And then we talk about respectability politics, right? I have 3 degrees from the University of Oklahoma, prestigious university. Oh, how I love the University of Oklahoma. I'm still paying back my loans, so. They pay me now, so I guess my paycheck goes to them again, so I still love it. But no, I do love OU. But we all love our universities, right? And we have our degrees, and I am 25 years old, and finally got everything that I desire. I'm engaged. My biggest accomplishment, I find a car that I really, really, really like. Oh, I really love this car. All white, new, leather inside, I'm like, man, I done worked hard. I'm going to give me something really, really nice. Okay, I'm going to give me something really, really nice. Oh, I'm going to get it really nice. I want to make sure that I don't have a car payment because I don't want a car payment, right? Because I've done that and I saw mom and dad and everybody struggle with car payments. But I want to pay something else. So I want to save. And when I finally get the money to save, I want to just buy it. I want to just say, I bought this car. So I see it's really nice. It's not new. It's used. One person had it. White, shiny wheels. 2009 BMW. 5 Series. Ooh, it's nice. It's nice. Woo! So I decide I'm debating whether to go back and forth, whether I'm going to buy it, and I finally buy it. And I buy it, I drive it off the lot, and the first person who I'm going to go show this car to is my mentor. Somebody who I really look up to, and I'm like, man, you followed me all through high school, all through college, and you had faith in me, you believed in me, and you mean so much to me, and I want to just come and show you. And text me your address because I can't remember exactly. I get lost in this new neighborhood. It's a new neighborhood in Norman. I'm like, all these terms and stuff. So text me your address. So he texts me his address, and I'm kind of there, but then I get lost. I pull into a driveway. And I stop for a second because I want to make sure that I got the address right. And I back out, and I start going. And I look up, and I see a police car with the lights behind me. And so I say, okay, let me pull over. And I pull over, and the police comes to the car, and he say, ask for license and registration. I'm like, I don't have my license and registration. I have my license on me, I don't have the registration and stuff because I'm literally just getting off. You see the tag, like it has the date, it's today. Like I'm just now getting this car. I'm so excited to go show my mentor, and I apologize. But first off, what did I do? What happened? Well, I received a call because it was a car driving around the neighborhood, and it pulled into a house, and then they started driving around again, and they felt like that maybe it was staking out the neighborhood. And I say that to say that respectability politics and all the education I pull out first. I pull out my OU ID first that has faculty and staff, and thinking, of course he's going to let, he's going to see that, and he's going to see I'm in a BMW, right? Because clearly nobody in a BMW going to do anything wrong in this neighborhood, because my car is better than all of theirs anyway, so nobody's going to, what am I going to do? But once again, it was a reminder of all the hard work that I've done, all the things that I've tried to accomplish. At the end of the day, I am still an African-American male who poses a threat to others, and especially white males with privilege. So yes, I tell you that story, and yes, I wanted to hit you because it hits me every day. I swallow that pill every day. So if you want to talk about diversity, if you want to talk about being better, you have to learn how to start swallowing pills that may hurt you as well. You do. And it's not a guilt trip. But that's how you meet diversity halfway. That's how you meet it halfway. And that's how you have these conversations. So I end with an applause to you all. Because I say kudos to being here today. This is the first step of many. I say many because everybody say first step. Oh, I'm almost there. Of many of how to make sure that your community, that your churches, that what you do on a day-to-day basis, that what you believe in, that how you act, how you interact, how you make a warm and welcoming environment in your churches, in your communities, in your organizations, how do you do that? This is the first step. Answering those 3 questions, and I go over one more time. Really digesting them. We can go over how to answer those questions and what we should look for, but understanding that everybody's church and everybody's organization is different. So there is no key to success to say, if you do it this way, you're diverse. You have inclusivity. Because your community is going to be totally different. The universities, the schools. I was a recruiter. I'll go to Douglas, then Harding Charter Prep. 2 different schools. UConn. 3 different schools. Choctaw. Midwest City. Dale City. I mean, we can go on and on and on. These are all different type of schools and different type of environments. But what we all have today that we can collectively say that we're on the same page about is that we want to learn and that we want to do better. And how do we do that is if you get to a place where you can answer these 3 questions. And the first question that I asked you all was, what characteristics do individuals within your church or organization possess? If you answer that question and you can get to the answer of trying to get there, then you can answer what diversity means. Because you ask, what kind of characteristics do you have? And everybody has different characteristics, and that's what makes us so unique. So they like to use this analogy that, we're all a big melting pot. No, I'm not. Not a melting pot. Sorry. I'm not. Because if you put me in that boiling hot water, I'm going to stand out. I'm not going to melt with you. I'm going to stand out. Okay? I'm going to have a flavor. You're going to have a flavor. And because of my flavor, we're going to taste good. Not because of you and me, we're going to taste. I'm going to taste good on my own, and you better taste good on your own. And if you don't, then that's on you. But I will. Okay? So, we're a salad is what I like to say. So you have your lettuce. Anybody like onions, tomatoes, bell peppers, whatever you like to put in your salad. But all of that makes it good, right? If you take something out, then you're like, man, I'm missing something. Man, that's bacon bits. I'm missing something. Crouton, I'm missing something. Something's missing in this salad. Just lettuce. No. She likes lettuce. What kind of lettuce do you like? It's a different kind of lettuce now. See?
Got it.
I can go all day with you. Okay, so you asked that first question and you talk about diversity. The second question I said, how do you create an environment in which individuals can feel welcome, respected, and supported? That's inclusion. That's inclusion. When you do that, when you can answer that question, you answer the inclusion. What is your church doing about inclusion? Answer that question. And then the last question was, how do you create growth and development opportunities for underrepresented populations? That's equality. That's making sure that we are all equal. And if you answer those 3 questions and you can come to an answer with those 3 questions, then you have really started the first conversation of how to be more diverse and inclusive. So I thank you for your time. My name is Jabar Shumate once again, and I hope you enjoyed today's talk. Thank you.